Agriculture Minister MUSTAPHA has ordered a number of immediate interventions that are intended to bring relief to drought-stricken rice farmers on the right and left banks of the MAHAICONY River. The interventions were announced by the Agriculture Minister during an outreach to the area on Saturday, during which farmers lamented their difficulties accessing irrigation water to plant their crop on lands already prepared. In his engagement with the farmers and residents of the MAHAICONY Creek, the minister stressed that government is committed to working with all farmers in realizing solutions to problems facing them, not in isolation, but in consultation with the stakeholders.
And the two burning issue for, I understand, is irrigation for your land, because a lot of people would have already prepared their land. Some have already sowed, and they are now getting irrigation. And also some people need work, personal work with the government excavator. So we'll talk about that. But the most important issue is irrigation from both sides, the right and the left bank. And we have to put some mechanism in place. So what I will do, I want to listen to you, the farmers, hear your suggestion, and try to see as much as possible how we can put those suggestions into practice. You know for a fact that we have seen the dry weather prolonged for a long time. Almost a year now we haven't had any major rainfall in the country. And this year will continue up to the first quarter of 2024. So we have to try to put system in place so that you can have enough irrigation, because I want to see I want to see all the land under cultivation, especially in our rice sector. We have seen to date approximately 190,000 acres of land that have already been prepared around the country.
Minister MUSTAPHA told the MAHAICONY farmers that of the 190,000 acres prepared across the country, only a few pockets of farmers are still facing difficulty accessing water to start the crop. He called on the farmers to be responsible and look out for the interest of each other in relation to their use of the irrigation water when it becomes available.
Now, in various regions across the country, from region 2 to region 6, that we have rice growing, the most affected area to me now is this area here and part of the country. So we are working to see what mechanism we can put in place. And we have to work and ensure that we try as much as possible to work as a team. We can't be selfish at this point in time. We know for a fact that, look, this is beyond any of us control in terms of the rainfall. And we have seen that many areas, our reservoir, we have seen that it has declined rapidly too because of the excess demand for irrigation water.
The problem for farmers of the MAHAICONY River is that salt water has now found its way up into the river and is therefore preventing access. The farmers claim that the huge pumps at specific locations in the river should be shut off as they are causing problems for farmers on the right bank, a move that was objected to by farmers on the left bank. After a fruitful exchange of ideas between farmers of the creek and the minister and team, a number of immediate interventions were decided upon. Most entailed pumping water from higher up the river, where the water is still sweet, into the irrigation channels. Excavators will also begin work immediately to clear specific channels that would allow water to get where it is needed most. The minister assured farmers that by Wednesday of the new week, irrigation water should be available to them. The interventions ordered by Minister MUSTAPHA were based on the input of farmers and the NDIA in determining the shape and form of the emergency works to be undertaken. Looking to the future, the Agriculture Minister told the farmers that the long-term plan is for the construction of the Hope-like Canal structure that will serve not only as a channel to drain excess water out to the Atlantic Ocean during heavy rains, but also a component to facilitate storage of water for extended dry spells.
Also, I want to tell you, the last time I came into the creek, I told you all that we'll start the Hope-like Canal in various region 5 and region 6 especially. We are now working to design those canals. Part of those canals also, time like these, will act as a reservoir for us too. so that we can use it for some form of irrigation. So Region 5 is slated for some of those canals, and Region 6. We have the consultant now working on the design. That design will complete by the end of February, and work will commence. Only last Tuesday we had a discussion with the President, briefing him on the latest aspect of this canal, or these structure. These will be massive structure. These will be canals that will help us when we have excessive rainfall and excessive water in the system, to drain the system without putting pressure on our drainage now that we have. The drainage that we are draining our cultivation areas, the drainage that we are draining our housing areas. We'll have these canals run directly to the Atlantic. And also, I asked the consultants and the people who are working on the design, I had a meeting last week with them, and they promised me also that they will make it in a kind of way, they'll build it in a kind of way that we can store water, so that when we have prolonged dry period like these, we can also use it to have irrigation.
In order to better manage the provision of irrigation water to farmers of the MAHAICONY Creek, Minister MUSTAPHA has instructed that a GRDB conduct salinity tests of different parts of the river to monitor the saltwater intrusion. During the meeting, residents requested help with access to potable water, as the saltwater intrusion was also hurting access to water from the creek that is usually used in the home for cooking and washing. In this regard, help was promised in the form of additional bowsers from Gaisuko and from the RDC of Region 5. One farmer also made available to the RDC his truck and a driver to assist in the delivery of potable water to the affected residents on the left bank of the MAHAICONY River. Gaisuko will be providing water to farmers on the right bank through the use of its bowser. Minister MUSTAPHA was accompanied on the outreach by Chairman of the NDIA, Lionel Wordsworth, CEO of the Ghana Livestock Development Authority, GLDA, Dr. Dwight Waldron, other heads of agencies, and Regional Chairman of Region 5, Mr. Vichan Ramphel.